And of course, the governor posting follow the instructions that students are being given. But when Joe was speaking with a student on campus there who had evacuated just a few minutes ago, that student was saying that he wished that there were more tweets or texts or whatever type of information being disseminated to students. The last text that he said that he had received, of course, had come at about 12:18 p.m. is, I believe, what he said. He was saying that he wished there were updates every 5 minutes. And certainly we're hoping to bring you a substantial update at the first press briefing that will be had after the active shooter situation was announced. We have seen posts from UNLV telling any students on campus to shelter in place. We've, of course, also seen a lot of students and people in the area, faculty as well, I'm sure, evacuating. So while the situation continues to unfold, at least one student we spoke to hoping for more information. We have some Metro people coming up to the area where we were just showing you the microphones are staging. They're walking toward the area where we anticipate the press briefing at Harmon and Escondido. You can see them approaching, and we will be bringing you everything that they have to say. We're going to go back out to the scene live now and see if there's anything more that we can share with you. Joe, what's going on? Oh, there's Sheriff McMahill. I see the sheriff now. They're coming under the tape and clearly getting ready. I see some crews that are moving out there. So we do anticipate hearing from the sheriff and from University Police Department very shortly, as we could, again, as we just saw them duck under that tape and get ready to go to the area where they're preparing to do this press briefing. Yeah, a lot of moving parts here. And that UNLV student that we heard from, the student who Joe was interviewing, he was at the journalism building, which is in the background of this shot here and incredibly close to where all of the action was. So happy to hear that students in that building got out safely. And I'm sure that that was terrifying for students in all buildings to hear those shots fired in surrounding buildings and how close that is. You can see dozens and dozens of police on scene. You can see Clark County Fire Department on scene. This is a multi-agency response, and unfortunately, Las Vegas has experience responding to mass casualty events, especially after 1 October. Looks like Clark County Fire Department has someone on scene as well to give their information as we await this press briefing. It looks like Sheriff Kevin McMahill, as you had mentioned. I see Andrew Walsh there as well. Clearly they're moving around, getting into position to get ready to deliver whatever they can share with us at this point in time. Again, this is going to be the very first press briefing that has been offered since the announcement of an active shooter and multiple victims on the UNLV campus earlier today. There you can see Joe on scene getting ready. And we have a shot for you now of Sunrise Hospital, where you can see law enforcement vehicles parked outside there. We do understand that Sunrise Hospital earlier was placed on standby alert for a mass casualty event. Our Jaewon Jung was down there on the scene reporting for us that people were flagging her down, asking her what was going on, wanting to know what happened. We all want to know more about what happened, and of course are bringing you this live coverage with minute-by-minute updates of any kind that we receive. Clearly a lot of questions in the community as people are unable to potentially get into area hospitals because many of them have been placed on lockdown in preparation for dealing with multiple victims of this mass casualty event. We are still waiting on additional information on when that press briefing is going to start. But as you saw just a few minutes ago, the top officials of Metro and University Police are gathering in the area. And we do hope that they'll be able to bring at least some answers to the rapidly building list of questions as to what happened at UNLV today. We just have the very basic details that there was an active shooter on campus. That active shooter now confirmed dead. Multiple victims, as you can see, an ambulance there with sirens on. Obviously, people still potentially being transported. We have not gotten information yet on how many victims and how serious the injuries are, but we do know that the hospitals in the area are all prepared prepared to receive and treat any patients that come their way. The numbers, again, still in question.
So we do know that a shelter in place is also still in place at UNLV. Police are working on evacuating students safely. So if you have loved ones who are at the university, hopefully you're able to get in contact them via text. But I'm sure just a lot of chaos happening on campus and a lot of uncertainty as students wait for more information. But a shelter in place continues on campus as police work to evacuate building by building. And as I mentioned to Darcy, it's a large campus with a lot of spread out buildings. And as we await more information, we also know that CSN and all Nevada State higher education institutions all closed for this day. The I-15 northbound from Blue Diamond to Charleston closed by Nevada State Police as they continue an investigation there. We're going to see continued closures likely as this investigation is going to span days, if not weeks, if not months.
And that student that Joe spoke to, Matt, who's from Boulder City, he was talking about what's going to happen tomorrow. They have presentations. Of course, we're coming toward the end of the semester before winter break, where final exams are anticipated, or midterm exams, I should say, for these students. So a lot of fallout in a variety of different areas from this activity, as of course we don't know when UNLV is going to reopen. As Kelsey just told you, all Nevada State higher education institutions all across the state of Nevada have been shut down for the remainder of today. We are going to go to Joe now live on the scene.
All right, Darcy, thanks so much. You're looking live south on Maryland Parkway, just outside the UNLV campus. Dozens and dozens of law enforcement vehicles out here. We are standing by for Sheriff McMahill to give us an update about what is happening here on the UNLV campus. A number of law enforcement stepping aside here, obviously sharing information with him to brief us. Now, he just walked up here a short time ago to give us information, so we are on standby for that information. Looks like law enforcement may be walking over right now. I'm going to step by to get the microphone that way, so just stand with us, bear with us, guys, as we get this all set up. Who will be speaking first?
UNLV Chief Adam Garcia.
Our UNLV Chief Adam Garcia will be speaking first.
Let me know when you're all ready.
Hey guys, we're getting ready for this. All right, we're getting ready, everybody. Just introduce yourself.
Adam Garcia. Good afternoon. My name is Adam Garcia. I'm the Vice President and Director of University Police Services in Southern Command. Adam, A-D-A-M, Garcia, G-A-R-C-I-A. Wanted to give you just a very short briefing on where we are at this point. Before I do that, I want to introduce Sheriff McMahill, who you see to my left, and the Fire Chief, Chief Steinbach. So we received a call of an active shooter event at 11:45 this morning. Officers immediately responded, engaged the suspect. The suspect at this point is deceased. We do not have information on any potential victims at this point. What I can tell you as well is that the entire Nevada system of higher education in Southern Nevada, campuses are all closed out of an abundance of caution. There is no threat to any other campus, but we are doing this out of an abundance of caution. With that, I will turn it over to the sheriff.
I'm Kevin McMahill. I'm the sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and I want to say to the community, there's no further threat. I will tell you that this combined police, state, local, and federal law enforcement, along with the fire department, worked very well. As the chief told you, we do have one suspect down. Of course, we have no idea on the motive. There are a number of victims that have been transported to area hospitals, so I don't want to give you false information and tell you how many victims that we have, but we will be providing that update very, very shortly. I want to assure the community there's no further threat. We are continuing the investigation here. This is still a very active and dynamic scene, so if you can avoid the area, we would appreciate it. And we'll be providing additional updates in the very near future. Thank you.
There are victims.
Yes, there are victims.
Yes, on behalf of the entire first responder community, though, of course, our hearts go out to any of the families that are affected by this. Our update right now is that we do have a reunification center that is opened up at the convention center. That's at the North Hall. It will take time to transport students over to that area, but if you can't get a hold of your loved ones right now, your kids or somebody that you're concerned with, then that would be the place to go and to try to go ahead and do that reunification. We will have people there to assist you. We also have a phone number. It is being staffed. It's 702-455-AIDE. And there'll be a website opened up, and it's facofsouthernnevada.com. Okay, and so that is our current information that we have for victim services, and that will change also as or be updated as necessary. But we will have those resources there. Understand when you call that number or you check the website, the information right now will still be limited, and there won't be any specific information as far as individuals that have been injured or deceased.
Sheriff, what's happening on the campus now? I see people leaving.
So as you can imagine, the campus is a very large area to cover. Much like we had it in the aftermath of 1 October, there's a lot of additional calls coming in that students hunkered down, they're afraid, they're scared. Our officers are going unit by unit, building by building with the university police and the rest of the police officers, firefighters, EMS, and making sure that we don't have any additional victims and or subjects. So we'll be back with you in the very near future to provide an update. Thank you.
Any info on the suspect?
Sheriff, I have an update as well.
All right, one more update here.
On that website, that's going to be facofsouthernnevada.org. I believe I said .com. That is .org.
All right, we just got the very latest information from.
So we just got the latest information.
All right, we got latest information from Sheriff McMahill, just providing us an update. We're going to step away here from this location to give you some more information as we recap that. Obviously, this is it's still a developing situation here on the UNLV campus. Sheriff McMahill just said the suspect is down in this situation. The suspect has been killed here on campus, and there are a number of victims. We don't know how many victims there are here, but he just expressed to me that there are victims that were transported to area hospitals. Now, there is a reunification center at the convention center for people leaving campus here. Many distraught students still leaving campus, and they're still going through. I'll give you a live look as we still learn information here at the UNLV campus. Again, Sheriff McMahill just wrapping up an impromptu press conference on the east side of the campus here, just explaining to us that there is no more threat, which is the news that many people are relieved to hear. No more threat here on the campus. The suspect is down, and an unknown number of victims right now transported to area hospitals. Of course, we're still waiting to get some more details about who that suspect is, what exactly happened inside of that building, what shots were fired and from who. So all right, we're just getting more information from the Metropolitan Police Department right there that the next update will come from them at headquarters at 5 o'clock this evening. Okay, so this is still an active situation here. All upper or higher education campuses here in Nevada are closed after this situation happened here at the UNLV campus. Around noon today is when those alerts went out to students. They are still going through the campus, responding to a number of reports that they're getting from students on the campus to make sure everything is clear, going through getting students out. I don't know if you saw behind Sheriff there in that press conference, people were leaving the campus, so people are leaving right now. So we will continue to stay out here and get some more information, but Darcy, I will go ahead and send it back to you.
Joe, thank you very much for that. As Joe just reported, and you see right there at the bottom of your screen, the single most important piece of information to come out of that very brief press briefing was that there is no further threat. Police believe that they have the situation completely under control and contained with the death of the shooter. No information of any other shooters or any other threats at any other locations. We, of course, had been reporting that there were lockdowns in the area at Lake Elementary, at some local hospitals, and that all college campuses across the state of Nevada had been closed. None of that because of any additional threat, all being done out of an abundance of caution. Joe did try to get information from the sheriff about any anything that they might know about the suspect. But clearly he didn't have that information yet as he walked away, claiming that we will have more when they have more. He mentioned there was no known motive, no number of victims able to share with us at this time, other than to confirm that there are victims, but no information as to the conditions of those victims, whether we have injuries and or people that were killed as a result of this active shooter situation. We're going to go now to Kelsey. There's a statement from Clark County School District.
That's right. It says, in light of today's tragic news at UNLV, the CCSD School District Board, we're hoping to pull that statement back up on your screen for you here so that I can read it. But the CCSD School Board of Trustees work session is canceled and will be rescheduled. Likely going to continue to see these rolling in throughout the rest of today, especially anything involving the school district, both CCSD as well as the Nevada System of Higher Education. And hopefully for the folks who are watching at home today, if you have any loved ones still sheltering in place on campus, if they are not able to receive that information via emergency alerts on campus, hopefully text message telling them that there is no further threat. You heard the sheriff saying there's a lot of scared students on campus right now, unsure about if they're okay and what's happening outside of their walls, because it's such a large campus. And this happened in, one section of the campus when it spreads much further than that, blocks and blocks away. So for those who are just tuning in as well, if you do have loved ones at UNLV and you are hoping to reunite with them, there is a reunification center at the Convention Center's North Hall. Fire crews will help transport students to that North Hall. There's also a phone number and a website that you can visit. That's facofsouthernnevada.org. That was provided by fire crews for anyone looking for some more information. UNLV continuing to send out alerts via their social media pages as well. This is, of course, a very developing situation with new information unfolding really any minute.
And as we just showed you, a post from the Clark County School District saying that the Board of Trustees work session was being canceled in light of the tragedy at UNLV. Other than Lake Elementary, we did not have any information about any Clark County School District schools being closed, just the college campuses across the state of Nevada. Looking at the time now, high school campuses will have already gotten out. Middle school and elementary, of course, still in session. Undoubtedly, many of the Clark County School District students will have siblings that attend UNLV. As you know, it's a very community-centered campus, and a lot of local families have family members not only who attend school there, but who work at school there. And we'll be looking to hear from those families as the day goes on as to the safety of their loved ones, hopefully, and whatever they may have encountered if they were there.
We also have a statement from the Board of Trustees, Evelyn Garcia Morales. It reads, quote, in light of today's tragic news at UNLV, the CCSD School Board of Trustees work session is canceled and be rescheduled. That was what we read to you earlier. For those who are just tuning in and are not sure about what exactly happened here just before noon at UNLV, reports say that the shooting started on the second floor bathroom of Beam Hall. That call coming in at 11:45 a.m. Police have told us the suspect is now dead. There is no threat to any other campus, and right now, no word on any sort of motive as well. And as this situation continues to develop, we have reporters all across the valley tracking this. Jaewon Jung is at Sunrise Hospital with the latest. Jaewon.
Kelsey, good afternoon. Well, it's quieted down quite a bit over here by Sunrise Hospital. When I first got here about an hour ago, it was just nonstop sirens going down on South Maryland Parkway towards UNLV's campus with multiple agencies, not just Metropolitan Police Department, but you saw CCSD police, even some NHP cars. You also saw fire trucks from all different agencies. But let me give you a live look at the scene. Sunrise Hospital has some security at its campus. You can see the Clark County safety officers currently blocking Sunrise Hospital. There were some people who are walking by and asking me how they can get in Sunrise Hospital, saying that they have family members who are patients here, but certainly an uncertain situation right now. It's looking like Sunrise Hospital is prepared. Now, I was able to also speak with a parent at UNLV earlier who was just so shaken up by this situation, you know, with the rise in gun violence across the country. And her student was actually on campus when she heard about the report of shots fired. And she was telling me that her student was actually hunkered down in the classroom. Just a scary situation. I mean, the city is already very sensitive when it comes to shootings after 1 October. I'm going to be standing out here and speaking with more people and just seeing the latest situation. Let me send it back.
Sorry about that, having some trouble with J1's mic this afternoon. Right now, we know that there are multiple victims who have been transported to area hospitals, and UNLV still on a shelter-in-place order as police continue to try to evacuate those students, bring them to safety, bring them to those reunification centers at the conference or at the convention center's North Hall.
And Kelsey, we're just receiving a text on information. We had Brian Horwath out at UMC. We're being told now that UMC has not received any patients from the shooting. UMC, we've got some sound from one of the students that we'd like you to hear right now.
Sad that we know how to barricade a door, you know, like I know that we're supposed to know, and I know like my great grandfather was in World War II and he had to go under like the tables for the potential nuclear bombs, but it's just, you know, it's sad. Like that's the equivalent nowadays, you know. We have to know how to barricade a door, and we don't even really get taught that, you know. It's not something we take a class for. It's something that we naturally know how to do as human beings, you know what I mean? And it's just super sad that we have to know how to do that in a college campus where we pay money to come here and learn. These are students of tomorrow.
Student, of course, expressing what I'm sure so many are feeling, the fear, the outrage, the lack of understanding at why something like this keeps happening on college campuses, why our young people are being targeted in these extremely violent situations. I'm going to go back and continue reading for you the statement that we received from UMC. Again, we're hearing that UMC has not received any patients from this shooting. UMC saying, as always, UMC Trauma Center stands ready to deliver the care our community deserves during its greatest times of need. UMC remains fully open to all patients and visitors, and we're prepared to care for the victims of this tragic shooting. As a precaution, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department officers are staged outside of all UMC entrances to ensure the safest possible environment for our patients, visitors, and staff. And again, important to reiterate from that statement, UMC does remain fully open to all patients and visitors, and they're prepared to care for victims of the tragic shooting, but they have not yet received any patients from the shooting. Not sure whether that's good news. I'm hoping it's good news, but that is the latest information in a statement from UMC.
Especially it being really the only level 1 trauma center in the Valley. Again, hoping that is some good news. We talked to some parents who were outside of campus wondering about their own student, their own children's safety. Let's listen into that.
Barricaded inside of one of the buildings, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay,
she's
so
safe.
She's safe, is that right?
Yes. I talked to her. She's good. They're barricaded in where she's at.
Okay, and having your daughter here at an active shooter situation, what's kind of going to your mind right now?
I'm just glad she's okay.
And you said you were going to wait out here for her?
Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
Just a heartbreaking situation. You can see the shock and the heartbreak on every single person that we've talked to, their face, dealing with this active situation as it continues unfolding. And I know Joe Moeller is out live as well, and we're going to see what's happening outside of campus. Joe.
All right, Kelsey. Yeah, we were outside the UNLV campus on the east side at Maryland Parkway and University. This area closed to traffic as this investigation continues here on campus. Still a pretty active situation. We're seeing students leave the campus, but if you take a look down Maryland Parkway, still dozens and dozens of law enforcement vehicles. We just heard from the sheriff just a moment ago saying that the suspect is down. He came out here, walked out here, quickly gave us that update, and so the number of victims have been transported to local hospitals. But the investigation is continuing. Police still going through the campus, checking different rooms, different buildings here on campus, and we're hearing an intercom over the campus here explaining that people need to shelter in place until they're told to do different. And we did speak to a student a short time ago, maybe 30 minutes ago, about being on campus, and the last update he got was almost 2 hours ago, and so that still said to shelter in place. So they're still going into these classrooms, taking students out and leaving. Sheriff McMahill saying there is no threat to the community here at this time, which tells us that the only suspect that they know of, the suspect involved in this situation, is down, and basically what they're trying to do is make sure that there is nothing else going on here on campus. But you're taking a look down Maryland Parkway. Very busy road, obviously. This is a Wednesday afternoon. The traffic in the area is pretty heavy. You're urged to avoid the area. Maryland Parkway is closed. Roads around the campus are closed for this investigation. A helicopter is still overhead. We're seeing that just do circles around this campus, as we have since about 12:15, since we got out here 12:30 earlier today. Now, this investigation is not over. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, some questions that the students also had that we spoke with earlier, wanting to know who was this person, what happened on campus, and what's happening next. But we are going to get another update from Metro later on this evening at 5 o'clock. But of course, we'll be out here bringing you the very latest. And now we're going to send it over to Giovanni.
Near UNLV right now. There's still an active scene out here right now. There's still a lot of people out here waiting to get reunited with friends, waiting for their classmates. Let me just give you a live look at what it's looking like over here right now. As you can see, there's multiple different first responders, police units out here during this what police are calling an active shooter situation. We now know that police say that there's no longer a threat, but this has still shaken up a lot of people out here right now. I did speak with one of a visitor who was here for an event, who tells me that he was out here for an event, and he was startled by what happened. He says that he was locked inside a room in the building that was right next to where that shooting happened. He says he's heard multiple shots, he's heard screams, and he says that he had some friends inside of the building where that shooting broke out, and he says that he's hoping all of his friends have been accounted for, and hopefully they are okay and nobody got injured. He says that he's been trying to get a hold of them, but no answer so far. But here's another live look at the scene. So you can see there's multiple ambulances, fire trucks, police units, and there's, like I said, there's still a lot of people out here right now just waiting and looking at the situation unfolding. Again, there's other people here who I've also spoken with who tell me that they just can't believe it. You can't believe what happened out here right now. Now, as you can see, here's another live look at the situation, and of course we will continue to monitor the situation right here, because everything is continuing to be a developed situation, and of course we are working to gather more details about what happened out here. But for now, send it back to you guys.
Thank you very much. We have on the phone once again former FBI Special Agent in Charge, Aaron Rouse of the FBI Las Vegas. Before we get to Aaron, I just want to read you an ex-post from Attorney General Aaron Ford. This came in a little bit earlier today when there were just reports of the active shooter before all of the confirmation that we've been bringing you all afternoon. Attorney General Ford says, "I just said a prayer for our entire community. Join me in holding the entire campus, our community, and our state in your thoughts and prayers." Of course, a lot of concern of that nature. And former FBI Special Agent in Charge, Aaron Rouse, back on the phone with us. Aaron, what are we to make of the very definitive statement from our sheriff that there is no further threat, despite the fact that there's clearly a lot of investigation still to do? I'm not sure we've got Aaron. Can you hear us, Aaron? Okay, that we'll get back to Aaron as soon as we've got him back on the phone. We are going to once again share with you the ex post from UMC Hospital confirming that UMC has not received any patients from the UNLV shooting. Their trauma center stands by ready to deliver any care that the community deserves during what they call one of our greatest times of need. Also confirming that UMC Hospital is fully open to all patients and visitors and is prepared to care for the victims of this tragic shooting. Anybody in the area who sees Metro officers staged outside of all UMC entrances, they're there to ensure the safest possible environment for patients, visitors, and staff. They are not there because there's any kind of a threat to the hospital. I'm being told now that we do have former special agent in charge of FBI Las Vegas, Aaron Rouse, back on the phone. And Aaron, I had been asking before, what do you make of the sheriff's definitive statement that there is no further threat, despite the fact that this is very early on and clearly there is still investigating to be done?
They clearly have information that this was a one-person event, and they feel confident in that information. It was a very definitive and declarative statement that did provide a measure of comfort to those people concerned about family members who may be in some of the lockdown facilities. But again, we also want to make sure that everyone is being cautious on how they approach situations, that they are still allowing the law enforcement community the room to conduct their investigations and make sure that they are cooperating as fully as they possibly can to the law enforcement directions and the request for help. If you have information that is helpful for law enforcement to know, make sure that you're providing that as fully and as accurately as you possibly can.
And I want to read a tweet just sent out from Las Vegas Metro Police. It says, from Sheriff Kevin McMahill, no more threat to the community. The suspect is deceased. Right now, we know there are 3 victims, but unknown extent of the injuries, and that number could change, and they'll update you when we know more. And we know that they plan on having another press briefing sometime this afternoon around 5 p.m., but that's the latest. We've been unsure about how many victims there are. We've learned there are at least 3 victims, unknown extent of injuries. They've been sent to the hospital.
What we can, of course, tell you is that they have not been sent to UMC, but we do know that we've got Jae-Won Jung standing by at Sunrise so that if any victims arrive there, she'll be able to share with us what she is seeing and whether anybody is giving updates on the conditions of those victims. But that number 3, Kelsey, that is obviously the first number that we have heard in terms of those who were victimized in this active shooter situation. The conditions of those victims, once again for our viewers, is unknown, but that number 3, the first time we're hearing how many people may have been affected by this shooter. We've heard a variety of different reports from our crews on the ground throughout the day about how many shots were fired. We had one student say she heard 4 shots. We had another student say he heard about 15 shots. We've been made aware that there were potentially 2 locations where shots were being fired in Beam Hall that originated in a bathroom, I believe, has been reported, as well as potentially shots fired in the student union. But again, that very latest information that Kelsey just read to you from Metro, 3 victims so far, and we can only hope and pray with the rest of our community that that number does not grow.
Yeah, Darcy, this is just such difficult news to hear at any time, but especially in Las Vegas. We're still healing from 1 October, and this brings back such painful memories for so many in our community and really across the country. UNLV, such a diverse campus as well. They have loved ones from all across the country, all across the world. It's an international campus. So people from really across the country wondering what is going on UNLV's campus right now. I want to show you a tweet from UNLV that we have. This is from the latest information. Actually, it sounds like we have some sound from officials at the press conference about the latest information we have on campus. Let's listen in.
So we received a call of an active shooter event at 11:45 this morning. Officers immediately responded, engaged the suspect. The suspect at this point is deceased. We do not have information on any potential victims at this point. What I can tell you as well is that the entire Nevada system of higher education in Southern Nevada, campuses are all closed out of an abundance of caution. There is no threat to any other campus, but we are doing this out of an abundance of caution.
Reminds you again, Clark County Fire Department has established a family reunification center at the Las Vegas Convention Center North Hall. Anybody wanting to just go down there to work on reunifying with loved ones that may have been on campus are encouraged to go down there. You can also call the number that UNLV has posted on X. I'll read that for you, 702-455-AIDE, AIDE, 702-455-2433, or you can visit the Family Assistance Center of Nevada. That is facofsouthernnevada.org, where information is being posted online as well. That Convention Center North Hall reunification program up and running, and anybody who still has yet to hear from or connect with loved ones has that available to them to go check out. Metro also posting on X, a hotline is set up for those impacted. That is the number that I just read to you. This updated tweet that we've got for you on your screen now from Metro. Again, Sheriff McMahill reinforcing no more threat to the community. The suspect is deceased. That hotline that I just read to you once again, 702-455-AID for reunification and for victim services. Metro reporting 3 victims, but unknown extent of the injuries. That number, of course, could change, and Metro saying that they will update the community as soon as they know more. Aaron, if you're still on the phone, what should we be expecting in terms of how quickly we'll be getting victim information? It's going to be unfolding for quite some time, I would expect. I think we probably
over the coming hours, and the reality is that people have to remember that those family members and the people that are negatively impacted by this event, they have rights to privacy and their, especially regarding their health care. So understanding that all of those factors have to be taken into account before information is going to be released. And then as the event continues on, things may change. So what is going on right now, what you know right now, is going to change in the coming hours and coming days.
Okay, Aaron, I'm gonna put you on pause for a second now. Aaron, if you could just hang on. I believe we need to go back out to the scene there to Giovanni, who's possibly got someone else who can share some information with us.
Right, guys, well, I'm here with Victor. He was actually in the building next to where that shooting rang out. Victor, I mean, how are you doing right now?
Right now, I'm doing fine, thankfully. It's been like, what, more than half an hour since then, so I've cooled down a bit, but at the time I was evidently terrified, scared for my life, really, because soon after I left the building, there was reports that there was more shots fired in the student union, which is where I was, but thankfully police pulled me out of there beforehand. So right now I'm doing good. I'm waiting for my ride, but thankfully I'm fine. Thank God.
Did you hear anything or did you see anything when you were out there? Or?
I didn't hear any gunshots actually, but right after I saw the report, I heard a lot of people screaming around me in the student union to get down, hide, shelter in place. And I was like, oh well, I'm stuck in the restroom. I can't get out. I'm scared. What if the shooter comes in here? I'm all alone. There was nobody else in the restroom, locked in the stalls. And after a while, heard some banging in the student union doors. I was like, well, this is scary. This could be the shooter. And shortly after, 5 policemen walked into the restroom. They were telling me to get out, put with my hands up. So I, got out. I was terrified. Large guns pointed at me. But they frisked me, checked my bag. They told me to leave my bag there. Well, I mean, that doesn't matter at the end of the day because life's more important.
Right.
But yeah, I was able to walk from the student union all the way over here thanks to the help of the police. And well, right now I'm safe, thank God.
Right, and you said you didn't hear anything, any gunshots or any screams like that?
No gunshots, but people were definitely screaming. They were scared, Yeah. So yeah.
What was it like inside that building? What would you say? How would you describe that to other people here?
Well, like I said, I was in the restroom at the time, so I wasn't able to see anything. But I did hear people scared. It was dead quiet after, because people, were trying to just stay safe, not make any noise. And until the loud banging came on, which is when my heart started racing. Right. But thank God it was police and no one else. So, yeah.
What was going through your mind during that time?
Oh man, I just wanted to get out of there safely. It was a scary situation. I've never been in anything like this before. I've seen it happen elsewhere. I never thought it would happen here. But it does call into question the university's security, because it is an open campus. Mm-hmm. So it's not uncommon to see like homeless people around. Mm-hmm. And, unfortunately there is bad people, and it is quite easy to conceal a gun and just bring it onto campus. Right. And well, this just shows that.
Right. I mean, have you been able to get a hold of your loved ones, your mom or your dad, or I don't know if you have any siblings, or have you been able to reach out to them?
Yeah, they all reached out right away as soon as they saw the news. And, I let them know I was safe. I reached out to my friends. Thankfully, they're all safe as well. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, there is people that did get hurt. Hopefully God's with them and they're safe, and their families as well. Mm-hmm. But yeah, scary situation.
Yeah, very scary situation, guys. Well, of course, continue to speak with other students here as well. But for now, I'll send it back to you guys.
For the latest there, that student describing a harrowing situation, being stuck in the bathroom, hearing screams outside, not knowing what is going on. Very happy to see that he has made it out safe. And as he described, he was instructed by police to drop his backpack and all of his belongings on campus, as I'm sure many other students have had to do, as well as leave their vehicles on campus, as this is now a big active crime scene. So a lot of students needing to reunite with people and find rides home. We're going to toss to a sound from officials at the press conference earlier.
So as you can imagine, the campus is a very large area to cover. Much like we had it in the aftermath of 1 October, there's a lot of additional calls coming in that students hunkered down, they're afraid, they're scared. Our officers are going unit by unit, building by building with the university police and the rest of the police officers, firefighters, EMS, and making sure that we don't have any additional victims and or subjects. So we'll be back with you in the very near future to provide an update.
That was Sheriff Kevin McMahill ensuring the community that there is no further threat and that the suspect and the suspected shooter is now deceased. He was killed on campus. Right now, it's unclear if that was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or whether that was gunfire from police. We're still working to find out a lot of information surrounding the suspect, who that person was, any sort of motive, and that investigation really just beginning for all of these agencies, as this is a multi-agency investigation. We heard from FBI's special agent or former special agent in charge, Aaron Rouse, about that extending a situation and how they'll start to dive into if the shooter had a vehicle on campus and what's on the computer and anything else that we can find on a motive. Joe Moeller is still on standby outside of the university right near where that shooting happened. Joe, what can you tell us?
But yeah, the investigation is still continuing here at the UNLV campus. We are just east of the campus on Maryland Parkway. We are still watching law enforcement show up here for this investigation. It's a little quieter than it was a short time ago, but as we've been saying throughout this broadcast, we've been on the air for a while now, but the latest information we got is that there is no more threat as far as Metro knows. The sheriff just told us that, and the suspect is down. But the investigation continues. They told me they're still going through the campus, searching the campus, trying to let students out building by building and class by class. So we're still seeing some people trickle out of the campus here. Obviously, this is going to be closed for quite some time. Maryland Parkway, you're seeing dozens and dozens of law enforcement vehicles, different agencies. We see ambulances. They're still at here. All right, and we just got an update from Metro as well. There's 3 known victims. That's just the latest information we just got from the Metropolitan Police Department. So that just came out moments ago, because about 30 minutes ago, the sheriff gave us one thing, and so now we're learning that there's 3 victims. The extent of those injuries not known at this time. The next update we are expecting to get from Metro is at 5 o'clock under the Metro headquarters near downtown Las Vegas. So we'll not be here at the UNLV campus, but we have been hearing the intercom here on campus as well, telling students to stay in place. as they continue to clear this. We talked to a student who mentioned it's obviously a scary situation when you're in that classroom and you hear reports of an active shooter on campus. I personally have been in a situation like that. It was 10 years ago when I was in university in California, but it's a feeling you don't know what's going on outside of your door. And when some students say they heard gunshots, that's obviously a little bit more nerve-wracking as well. But they all got that update on their cell phone, getting several text messages from the school telling them about the active shooter situation happening on campus. Investigation continuing here at this hour, as it will be for quite some time. A lot of people here have questions. I'm seeing neighbors nearby still trying to get down Maryland Parkway. I'm still seeing parents walk up here trying to gather information, trying to figure out what's going on campus. And so a lot of people are trying to find out who the suspect was that was inside of that building when these shots rang out, and what exactly happened inside that room. All right.
That very
now we
loud
are
noise.
just learning some more information, as we just said a moment ago, that there is another Metropolitan Police Department here, press update happening at 5 p.m. tonight. So that's when we will get the latest information from them. But what we have learned, obviously, three victims. The extent of those injuries still not known here at this time. The suspect is down, killed here on the campus of UNLV. The campus is still closed. Roads around the campus still closed. So if you live in the area, work in the area, you're being asked to avoid it because you won't be able to get through many of these streets. Again, we're on Maryland Parkway, completely closed down here on the east side of the campus. Now, we also have a number of reporters around the campus here and around the valley covering this situation. We have Jaewon Jung standing by as well. Jaewon.
Again, just give me a minute. Hi, I'm Jaewon Jung, live across from Sunrise Hospital. You can see that there are several police cars standing by at the perimeter of the Sunrise Hospital campus. I was actually able to speak with a worker at Sunrise Hospital who asked me to keep her identity secret, but she told me that the hospital campus right now is on complete lockdown. Nobody is allowed to leave. I had someone message me on Instagram saying that they're actually a first responder at UNLV. I'm dialed in with him right now. Mike, so how are you doing right now? I mean, you're a first responder. What has your experience been like?
Hi, so just to introduce myself, my name is Mike Taralba Malian. I'm a master's student at UNLV for nursing, but I'm also a first responder EMT with Lee Canyon Ski Patrol, and I was formerly Henderson Fire, formerly Portland Airport Fire. How I'm feeling right now is I'm just safe and happy that the suspect is finally down, but just mixed emotions, you know. You need, as a first responder, you need to be calm when situations like this happen, and our training is always kicked in. We've been trained for multiple casualties and active shooters, and right now I'm just at a point where I'm checking in on everyone, just informing everyone of what they need to do, and just general safety tips on, if they're in a building stuck, where is the safest places that they could be. And the biggest thing is really just following UPD and Metro's orders, and just following that shelter in place. And a lot of it is just in times like this, information can get jumbled around. It's so important to just keep looking at the first responders, especially Metro Police and UPD, that have all the information, following them as best as possible.
Mike, I know you were telling me earlier that you worked for Henderson Fire during 1 October. I mean, having a shooting happen here again in this city, how do you feel right now?
Yeah, so actually when I was working for 1 October, I was still in the logistics division for Henderson Fire, so I wasn't on the floor. But it just goes to show that when one big event happens here in Las Vegas, we have a limited structure. We only have 4 major departments. We only have a couple police agencies, so it's up to us to really work together. So what happens is major units will respond, but the other departments and the other agencies around town will kind of move units around just to make sure that everywhere else is safe. Because when events happen like this, everyone is focused on UNLV. We will have people with negative objectives, or people who want to harm others, that will keep note of that, and they'll try to look at opportunities, right, to do evil. And that's the thing, is we want to make sure that while UNLV and most of our units are responding there, everywhere around the valley is also safe.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to send it back to you, Kelsey. I'll be standing by here at Sunrise Hospital and watching out for the latest.
Jaywan, thank you for that. And we know that so many have loved ones on campus right now, whether they're students, faculty, professors. We have a tweet here explaining what you can do if you're trying to find some more information. If you're looking for a loved one who is on the UNLV campus, you can call 702-455-AID. That is 2433. So the phone number again is 702-455-2433. And a family reunification center is now located at the Las Vegas Convention Center's North Hall. Las Vegas and Clark County Fire helping transport students that we heard during the press conference to that reunification center. If you are looking for your loved one and not able to get in contact with them, that is going to be the best place that you can find them, because as you can see, the university is still very much an active crime scene, and they're working on evacuating students safely as they continue sheltering in place on campus here. So that's going to be the best place where you can find them and avoid the chaos of this very active crime scene. Brian Horwath is also on scene for us. Brian, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Kelsey, I'm down here outside University Medical Center, and it's actually quieted down a lot from what it was about an hour ago. I'm just going to step out here and let you get a look here. There's still a lot of police activity. We're just outside of University Medical Center and, of course, very near Valley Hospital Medical Center as well. Now, UMC did send out that statement just a few minutes ago that said that they did not have, as of just a few minutes ago, any victims from this shooting incident at UNLV. So UMC does not have any victims right now. They said they're prepared if they need to step in and help at all. And then, of course, we have police stationed at all the UMC entrances. We're being told that's just out of an abundance of caution right now. So not a lot has changed in about the last 45 minutes or so down here. A lot of police activity still down here. Of course, we're getting information as it comes in, like you all are. Kelsey, back to you.
Brian, thank you. We have been reporting the last few minutes on some closures and some cancellations. We want to give you a little bit of an update on that. We do know that, according to UNLV, they're saying due to the tragic events unfolding on UNLV's campus, tonight's men's basketball contest between UNLV and the University of Dayton will not be played. Further information will be released when available. We ask that our fans keep the UNLV community in their thoughts and prayers. And Metro just posting on X about 3 minutes ago some updates on the roads that are shut down and that everyone in the community is urged to avoid those closures. Maryland Parkway closed at University Avenue to Tropicana Avenue. Swenson and University Drive closed Tropicana Avenue to Flamingo Road, and I-15 is shut down northbound starting at Blue Diamond to Charleston. So cancellation of the basketball game, lots of road closures, closures at college campuses across the state. We do have Aaron Rouse still on the phone with us. Again, that's former special agent in charge of FBI Las Vegas, Aaron Rouse. And Aaron, from what we're hearing, our troops on the ground, our reporters on the ground, I should say, are telling us that things appear to be quieting down. While there's still significant law enforcement presence, a lot of the activity is quieting down. So what's going on behind the scenes right now?
When it first happened, I ran, and then, I left my stuff there because I'm not trying to get shot. Packing my stuff up because it was in the building pretty close, and they're saying there's multiple shooters, multiple suspects. So, I ran away. But I was like, at the time, I thought there's only one. So I was like, okay, well, let me try to go get my stuff that I left there. But no, so.
Sure, were you worried at all?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's pretty worrisome.
Sorry about that. We thought we were going to be going on the phone to Aaron, but of course you just heard from another student on campus. That student saying what several other students have been telling us throughout the day, that there have been conflicting reports regarding the number of shooters. He did say that he heard there were multiple shooters, but that information is not what we are hearing from police. Police are saying that at this point they have identified one shooter and that shooter is deceased. Therefore, at this time, according to Metro, there is no further threat. So we just want to clarify that despite what that student just said about reports, potentially rumors circulating amongst those on campus that there were multiple shooters, that information is not what we are being told by law enforcement at this time.
And if we have Aaron Rouse still on the phone with us, he is former special agent in charge of the FBI Las Vegas. Aaron, if you are here with us, there's a lot of confusion and a lot of shock right now across our community as people are looking for answers. And of course, that leads to more 911 calls, more, asking questions of police. What can the community do in helping law enforcement in their investigation as they are looking for answers as well?
That's a great question. The law enforcement wants to have as much accurate information as they possibly can have. So if you have information, as they develop information and they put that out to the community, if you have information, respond to the law enforcement request. Now that the quiet of the scene is starting to come out, you're going to see a lot more activity on the part of the law enforcement, a lot more of deliberative actions that is going to create the basis for a quality investigation and hopefully definitive answers.
And we should take some solace in the quiet that's being reported not only at UMC but at UNLV that underscores what Sheriff McMahill said about there being no further threat. We're going to go now.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. I'm just going to put you on pause again right now because we do have another bit of information from a student who was interviewed on the scene.
Basically, I was in the BEH building, where it happened in the morning for my first class. Everything was cool and fine. Class ended. We went to our second class, and I was in the right building, which is kind of like pretty close to the BH building. We heard a bunch of cop cars, sirens, and all that stuff, and it was really, really loud. So we're like, why is it so close? She checked her email. The professor did. We heard there was an active shooter on campus. And so we didn't really know what to do, so the professor decided to start evacuating us, and that's kind of right when we got the message that there was an active shooter on campus. We were walking away from the area, of course, and me and some of my classmates saw like a guy holding a sniper running to the BH building, so that was that. And as we were walking, we started hearing gun shooting, so we just had to run,
You started hearing what?
Guns, like, shooting. So we started walking away, and luckily someone opened one of the buildings for us, and we ran in there. It was just...
We're back out there now live to Giovanni at his location. Giovanni, what else can you share with us?
Right, well, I'm with Marco right now. He's a student who was inside the building where shots rang out, but he says that he was able to get it out of that building once he heard a loud noise. Marco, I mean, just describe what you were...
So, you want me to hold the mic?
I can hold it.
Okay. So, I was sitting in my office in BH210. I'm not sure where the shooting happened, but from what I heard, it sounded like it was on the same floor. It was pretty loud. And I heard one thud. I just thought it was, something falling maybe. Then sirens started going off in the building, so I just assumed it was a fire drill. I put my laptop back in my bag, I put it on, and I heard 6 more loud bangs. So I'm like, oh, this isn't a drill, this is serious. So I get out of the room, put my book back on, and I see a couple cops running up the steps with their guns out. So I'm like, oh, I run down the stairs out of the building, and then I remembered, my girlfriend's on campus, so I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay, make sure she was safe. So I went into the building next to it, and I went up to the 4th floor of that building, Went in there, made sure everything was good. But when I got in there, they didn't know that it had even happened yet. So I had to tell the teacher what had happened. And yeah, it was scary. We were in there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and I still don't even have my stuff back. I don't know when I'm gonna get that back, but yeah, it was scary.
What was going through your mind as you were running out of the building?
I was just hoping to get away alive at that point, like, because it was loud, like it sounded like it was right there. And when I seen the cops with their guns, I knew it was serious. So I just wanted to get out, make it alive. That's it.
And you were telling me also that you didn't want to frighten the other students in the classroom that you ran to, right?
Yeah. So when I got into the room, they didn't know that the shooting had even happened yet, and I didn't want to scare anybody because I just didn't know how to break the news. So I just told the teacher because he came outside. He seen that I was out of breath, so he came outside and I told him what had happened, and he had broke the news, which I feel like is better.
We've been hearing a lot from students that they've been getting alerts on their phone about that shooting. Did you receive those alerts as well?
I did get those alerts. Yes, I did. It's good that they have those alerts because if I weren't to break the news, then they would have all got those alerts and seen that it had happened. So that's good.
And when you were able to get together with your girlfriend, what was that moment like for you?
It was good just to make sure that everything was okay, make sure she was okay, make sure that everything was under control at that building. It was good, yeah.
Have you been able to get a hold of like your mom or your dad or any siblings that you might have?
Yeah, so I'm like an out-of-state student, so my family's all back home in Pittsburgh. So yeah, when they had seen it on the news, they seen it on Twitter, and they texted me, called me, and make sure that everything was okay. And yeah, it was good, like getting to hear. They wanted to hear my voice, and it was good to hear their voices as well.
What was their reaction? I'm sure they were very like mortified.
Well, yeah. Well, my grandparents were crying, and because they didn't know that anything could happen. So, but it was just their reaction was just shocked that anything like this could happen, especially like to their son, stuff like that. So, yeah, they were shocked.
What do you make of the response from Metro? You were telling me that you saw officers running into the building when you were running out, right? What do you say of the response?
I think their response was quick because as soon as I heard the first shot, I heard the sirens go off, and I seen them running up the steps. So it was good that they were able to act quick and get it under control.
I mean, anything else that you'd like to share, just like to add?
No, I just hope that everything's safe, everything's under control. That's it. And just pray for all the victims and their families. That's it.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. All right, guys. Well, that's all for me right now. We're sending things over to Joe.
All right, thank you so much, Giovanni. We are live on the east side of the UNLV campus. You are taking a live look on southbound Maryland Parkway, where a bulk of law enforcement are parking here, and they're stationed here, many of them coming out here to try and continue this investigation. We're live on the east side of the campus here. People are slowly leaving the campus. We've been watching faculty and a number of students being escorted out of this area. This area right here is actually caution taped off. This, looking south on Maryland Parkway, but around this area, a number of streets are actually closed. I'm going to have our photojournalist go right over here. You can see the University United Methodist Church. There's a number of people in that parking lot just taking photos, waiting to get any information, but people who live nearby also still trying to get to where they need to be, either that's work or to where their house is. So a lot of people still standing by and just waiting to see when they can get through to where they live and to where they might need to be for work. But again, we were out here just a short time ago. The sheriff walked out here, did an impromptu press conference, updated us, told us there is no more threat here on the UNLV campus, but the investigation is continuing. That suspect is down, and we learned from Metro a short time ago that there are 3 victims. The injuries, the extent of those injuries is not known here at this time, but we are giving you a look around the area. You can still see caution tape here on Maryland Parkway, a number of streets blocked off, a number of media staged here waiting for any sort of update that they can get right here in this location. But we have learned that the next update we will be getting from Metro will be later on this evening at around 5 o'clock at Metro headquarters. Still an active situation, still active investigation happening here. We're still hearing the intercom on the UNLV campus. It is saying, for telling students to basically stay in place, do not leave where you are at until basically the police come in there and take you out and escort you off the campus, escort you outside of the caution taped areas. Live look here, the helicopter is still flying overhead. Not too sure if this microphone is picking that up, but that helicopter has been circling the UNLV campus since we were out here at around 12:30. So it's been out here since this all unfolded earlier. We're seeing some law enforcement leaving. We saw one SWAT vehicle leave the scene here. As we did learn, the sheriff, Metropolitan sheriff, did tell us there is no more threat on campus, but they want to make sure. They want to go through this campus and just investigate every single room, every single building to make sure that everybody is okay and make sure that they can get everybody out safely out of this campus. The investigation is continuing. Quite a lot of students, parents still waiting for answers, hoping to find out more about what unfolded there inside of that building. And there is one suspect down, so one person has been killed here on campus today, so the investigation will take quite a bit of time. So roads in this area will be closed for quite a while as this investigation does continue here on the UNLV campus. But here, taking a live look down Maryland Parkway, again, you are urged to avoid the area. Traffic is pretty bad in the area because so many roads are closed on and around the campus. But we're going to continue to stay out here as we continue to watch students leave the campus here. And I know both of you back at the station, Kelsey, when you're in these sort of situations, unfortunately, I don't know about you guys, but unfortunately I have been on the campus before when you are told to lock in, stay in your classroom and lock in place when there's reports of an active shooter on campus. It's not a good feeling. As a student we talked to earlier said, it's scary. I mean, you don't know what's going on outside of your door, who's outside of your door. So many students still inside waiting for that word that they can leave campus, hoping someone will come on there to get them. But I'll send it back to both of you, but definitely a scary situation here on campus.
Absolutely, Joe, and I can tell you from the perspective of a parent whose students have gone through many of those drills that the threat that those drills will become a reality someday is a constant fear that myself as a parent and all those that I know who have students from the school district on up through any college level are feeling and thinking about right now. We have been telling you about the trickle effect of closures and cancellations that the shooting at UNLV has had. We have a little bit of new information now posted, this coming from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, that a candlelight vigil that was planned for Wednesday night at Allegiant Stadium to honor fallen Nevada Highway Patrol troopers Michael Abate and Alberto Felix has been canceled. Again, that candlelight vigil that was set to happen at Allegiant on Wednesday for fallen Highway Patrol troopers Michael Abate and Alberto Felix has been canceled. And Kelsey, you also have an update that's come into you.
That's right, from Nevada State Police. We previously told you the I-15 northbound was closed between Blue Diamond and Charleston. Just minutes ago, they've sent out an update saying that it is now open between Blue Diamond and Charleston. Ramps on the I-15, though, remain blocked right now. We have another update as well. This one from the LVCVA. They're asking any family going to that reunification center at the convention center to park along the flagpoles in front of the Central Hall. And we want to toss to actually joining us now, we have Randy Sutton. He is a retired lieutenant with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. Randy, thanks for joining us. A really tough time for our community right now.
I really wish I wasn't joining you today, but you're right. This is a very difficult time for our community. You know, the memory, you can still smell the gun smoke from October, you know, of a couple years ago. And today we're once again burdened with a multiple shooter situation, or excuse me, a multiple victim situation involving an active shooter, this time on the campus of the UNLV. And so this is a very dynamic situation. There haven't been that many facts that have been put out by Metro, but we do know that we have multiple victims, and the extent of how many and the extent of their injuries has not been reported yet.
And Randy, your organization, Wounded Blue, can you tell us a little bit about how that might come into play?
Absolutely. So the Wounded Blue is a nationwide charity. We are the national assistance and support organization for injured and disabled law enforcement officers. Now, there's going to be a huge police response at this, and we're still unsure of the method of death of the suspect. Was it an officer-involved shooting? We haven't been told that yet. But I can guarantee you this, that multiple victims has a strong effect on the emotional well-being of everyone involved at that scene, including the police officers who are being placed in the situation to provide first aid, to have to stay on the scene and actually sit with the victims if there are deceased victims. and then deal with the victims' families. It's very, very traumatic for a law enforcement officer. And so sometimes these things have very dramatic effects on their emotional and mental well-being. And so what the Wounded Blue does is we work with injured and disabled officers all over the country, here in Metro Land and Las Vegas as well, to help them deal with the traumas that they experience. And so we recognize injuries as either being physical or emotional and psychological. And I can guarantee you that the officers who are at this scene right now are going to face some struggles.
And the question why, everybody always wants to know why.
Right.
As we were hearing earlier from former Special Agent in charge of FBI Las Vegas, Aaron Rouse, you don't always get to know why in situations like this. And clearly with a deceased suspect, those whys may be very hard to come by, and that's going to be hard for a lot of people.
Well, you know, more often than not, the why comes out during the investigation, more often than not. Of course, you know, the exception to that rule was the shooter at, from the Mandalay Bay. That one still, remains an open mystery. But here's what the investigative process is going to be here. We have a deceased suspect. They will identify him. He's probably already been identified. They will go through all of his or her social media. They will look at any of their devices. They will go through and talk to their friends and family and try to develop some information about what the motivating factors were here. I mean, I can't believe that this was random, right? I mean, this guy went into a particular building on a particular campus and wreaked havoc. The question is, why that building? Why this campus? There is almost always some type of relationship between the shooter and either the physical location or the people that they're shooting. So my guess is that that's what's going to play out here, that there was some type of relationship between he or she and the school or people that were in that building at the time. So the question is, how long will it take to determine what this motivation was? And then Metro has to, walk a fine line here with giving this information out, because you don't know if there were people that helped. Where did he or she get the weapon? Were there any other people involved in any other ways? Did somebody have knowledge? Very often these people, they'll talk to somebody and they'll put out that information that they've got something planned, or was there anything at play here that might have mitigated what took place? So, this is a massive investigation. And Metro, especially when you're dealing with multiple victims, this is a big deal. And Metro, luckily, is up to the task. It's one of the best trained police departments in the country. It's a department that takes its responsibilities seriously, and and there's great leadership. So I'm thinking that we're going to get this information. Just as you said, by the very nature of humanity, we want the answers now, and we're just going to have to be patient.
Absolutely, as police continue to do their work. We're taking a live look as well, and RTC buses transporting students off campus right now. We told you that a lot of these students had to leave their vehicles, all of their belongings on campus, as it is an active crime scene, and that investigation continues campus-wide. We have some sound from earlier today we want to toss to.
Still scared. Still, I won't be happy until I get my daughter where I can see her, when I can actually put my hands on my daughter and know that she's okay. I'm going to be stressed. There's no stress level 1 to 10. This is 1,000. You raise your children, you take them, you tell them to go to school so they can get a better education, to have a better life, and then you have to worry about them. They're losing their life before it can even begin. There are no words. There are no words to express how stressful that is And I know that my child is alive, so I can't even imagine those parents who have lost their child or their child is wounded.